Face. Present. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay. Colors. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you for joining us this morning for the Welcome Home ceremony as we officially open the wall that heals. I am Liz Foltz, Director of the Washington Centerville Public Library. We are the host of this exhibit. It has truly been an honor to have been selected as a site location and to have this opportunity to recognize those who served. We have felt the support of our community throughout the planning process and have no doubt that this memorial will have a lasting impact on those who visit. The Wall That Heals is here at a significant time in the history of the Vietnam War. 2023 marks the 50th anniversary of the removal of the U.S. combat troops. The Vietnam War was the first televised war. Living color images of the violence, increasing casualty count, and the fighting that seemed to never end angered many Americans. For the first time in American history, that anger was often turned toward those who fought, and many of the servicemen were disrespected when they returned home. Jan Scruggs and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund that he founded have been instrumental in helping to change the mentality about the Vietnam War over time. Scruggs was haunted by witnessing the death of 12 of his buddies in combat in one single day. He advocated for a Vietnam War memorial so that we would all remember the price our country paid. In order to ease the creation of a memorial for a controversial war, the Wall Memorial was created using no public funds, and the designer was selected through a juried competition that was held nationwide. Maya Lin, who was born and raised in Athens, Ohio, was selected from more than 1,400 submissions. In keeping with the times, the decision to use her design was also controversial. She was young, she was Asian, and her design was unlike anything else in Washington, D.C. Despite the initial controversy, the wall has since become one of the most visited memorials in the world. I hope that while you are here, you will spend some time at the Mobile Education Center, which is behind you, to learn more. And on display, there are some images that have been left at the wall in Washington, D.C. As you take in this memorial, please think about the individuals that are represented by the more than 58,000 names that are on the wall. Of those, 3,095 are Ohioans that died in Vietnam. And just reflect and remember the price that they paid for freedom. At this time, I'd like to invite the elected officials who are here with us today to speak, to share their remarks. And first up, we have Dale Berry, Washington Township trustee.
Good morning. My name is Dale Berry, President of the Washington Township Board of Trustees. With me this morning is our other trustee, Mrs. Sharon Lowry, and our fiscal officer, Gary Smiga. Our administrator is also present with our fire chief and deputy chief and our safety director. So we are pleased to welcome you. It's an honor to be here today, celebrating this momentous occasion and everything that the Wall to Heal stands for. With this memorial comes the opportunity to educate ourselves and our community and to honor and preserve the memories of those we lost in the Vietnam War. It offers a safe space for veterans and their families to grieve, heal, and support one another. I'm proud to live in a community where so many care and are invested in our veterans. The Wall That Heals is a remarkable tribute to the courage, sacrifice, and valor of our Vietnam veterans, and to have it right here in our own backyard provides a way to reunite family and friends in the peace and comfort of familiar surroundings. Thank you, Washington Centerville Public Library, for bringing this memorial to the Washington Township and Centerville community, giving thousands of veterans the opportunity to visit the memorial in our local setting. The following days will be filled with many emotional and impactful moments, and we at Washington Township consider it a privilege to be a host community for the memorial and are grateful to the numerous volunteers who make it possible for the exhibit to be open 24 hours a day. We are fortunate to have so many incredible organizations that have supported and invested in the wall and in the Wall That Heals. Let us spend the next few days reflecting as we remember those who gave their lives for our country. And now I'd like to introduce to you Ohio State Representative Tom Young.
Thank you for having me here today. I want to thank the Washington Centerville Library District and all the sponsors for this special event. I thought it was appropriate to use a poem that was written by a gentleman named Gary Tollefson, who healed after the Vietnam War, wrote a book called The Vietnam War Elegy. But he healed his soul and his mind after the war by writing poetry. And I'd like to share that with you today. I stand in a still smoldering battlefield over a freshly killed enemy soldier. I had picked up his pith helmet. The inscription inside revealed he had a girlfriend. Why had all of this just happened? Why were both of us here? This was not what I have imagined, ever. That's probably good. This is not what I wanted. I have come so far from what I am, yet we are both here now. One quick and one dead. This is a moment I will not forget, and a day you will not remember. You fall here, and I go home. Is this real or just a dream? I never wanted to be here. Did he? I keep his helmet. I want to remember that we are same water buffalo. It's just war. The nature of it. I cannot change it. I cannot foresee the future. Destiny reveals itself in the now. It cannot be changed. It becomes my inner sorrow, a sorrow that I cannot share. I'd like to thank my good friend CWO Jay McAlpin, who enlightened me today to, as the soldiers were coming home, as we celebrate our soldiers, we say thank you for our service. Our Vietnam veterans, we say welcome home. So welcome home. May the inspiration of this wall, this day, the grace and humility of this wall inspire us for years to come. Thank you.
We do not know one promise the fallen made, one pledge they gave, one word they spoke. But we do know they summed up and perfected by one supreme act the highest virtues of men and citizens. For love of country, they accepted death and thus resolved all doubts and made immortal their patriotism and their virtue. President James A. Garfield spoke those words more than 90 years before the Vietnam War ended. As we welcome the wall that heals to our community, those words spoken by James Garfield still ring true today. There is no doubt that those on the wall exhibited the highest virtues of men and citizens in their love of country. There are many who will visit the wall who are too young to know or do not know that 58,281 American soldiers lost their lives in service to their country during the Vietnam War, and every single one is on the wall. There are many who will visit the wall who are too young to know or do not know that over 2.7 million Americans served their country overseas in Vietnam. And there are many who will visit the wall who are too young to know or do not know that the wall was a divisive issue in this country throughout the 60s and 70s. And there are many who will visit the wall who do not know who General Westmoreland is, or that he had this quote about the wall. When the soldiers came home from Vietnam, there were no parades, no celebrations, so they built the Vietnam Wall for themselves. General Westmoreland may have been correct when the wall was planned or even when it was completed, but today it is an American wall. It's a wall where we as Americans can see the names of those who have fallen from one end of the black granite slab to the other, and know that while at the wall, we are in the presence of thousands of our nation's heroes, those who died in service to our country and those who served with those on the wall in our country during the Vietnam War. To all of our veterans who served in Vietnam, you are heroes to your family, to your friends, to your community, and to your nation. I am truly humbled to be here to welcome you on behalf of the city of Centerville and be in the presence of the wall, those named in the wall, and those of you who served. We are proud of you. We are grateful for your service to our country every single day. Welcome home.
Joseph Guy LaPointe, Jr., Panel 23W, line 45. My husband was a medic assigned to B Troop, 2nd Squadron of the 17th Cavalry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division. He was killed June 2nd, 1969, and was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously for his final action on Hill 376 in Vietnam. Our son Joe was 5 months old at the time of his father's death. Each of us who lost a loved one in Vietnam had an experience that links us forever, but how we faced that loss and how it defined our lives is unique for all of us. For me, the memory of my late husband visits me every day, and has since the day I met him in the fall of 1967. For my son, who never knew his father, it left an empty place in his life and in his heart. In 1998, we were contacted by former First Lieutenant Fernando de Paris, Lift Section Leader. He talked about Guy and how he liked to ride Fernando's helicopter, because Fernando carried ice and no one else carried ice. He told me stories of Guy teaching the soldiers how to take care of themselves, and how Guy would treat the local children that would come to Camp Eagle with cuts and scrapes. He told me of their missions. He told me of their last day together on Hill 376. Fernando and all who met Guy loved him. Later that year, after attending our first reunion at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Fernando asked if we would like to go to Vietnam. My son Joe said yes even before I could. At the end of May 1999, we flew to Vietnam with a group of B troopers wanting to go back and see the country. Almost all of them knew Guy, and several had been on the Hill 376 that day. That was the beginning of our journey. The mission was to climb Hill 376 and extract the 5 souls left behind on 2 June 1969. We left for Vietnam on May 26, 30 years after my husband's death. My son and I traveled with B Troop veterans, their wives, my sister, and a news crew from Fargo, North Dakota, who came with us to make an award-winning documentary called Return to Vietnam, Healing on the Hill. We climbed Hill 376 30 years to the day, where my husband and others had died. One of the B Troop veterans, J.R. Baltazar, stopped at the top of the hill, stood on a boulder, and told us the story of the battle, all the details. J.R. was just 17 years old at the time. That trip to Vietnam changed our lives. Since then, my son Joe and I have visited many places. Fort Sam Houston, where Guy trained to become a medic. Fort Benning, Georgia, where they named a helipad in his honor. Fort Campbell several times with the B Troop Association. All have been growing and learning experiences. A veteran once told me, when you honor one of us, you honor all of us. This has been the driving force behind my commitment to keep my husband's memory alive. The Vietnam War created social unrest. The right or wrong of the war was debated in every household across the nation, and people protested while young men fled the country to avoid the draft. Soldiers who returned to America were not embraced as heroes, and many were looked at with shame and often called names or worse. I recognize the loss you suffered in going to Vietnam, to a war that tore our country apart. You lost your youth and your idealism. You lost your friends and comrades, and some lost their families, only to return home where you couldn't wear your uniform in fear of repercussions for doing your duty. My husband was also doing his duty. When called, you answered. You did not run away, but served, and served well. Finally, your service has been recognized and appreciated. Today, I volunteer. I'm honored to spend time with veterans, talk to them, and hear their stories. When they find out I'm a war widow, they tend to open up to me. You see, if my husband had survived the war, he would be a veteran too. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy, for sharing your story with us today. Next, we'll have a laying of the wreaths, and we have Lieutenant Colonel Stan Franzalia representing U.S. Army. Major Robert Berkman, U.S. Marine Corps. Lieutenant Michael Beavis, U.S. Navy. Lieutenant Colonel William Pollard, U.S. Air Force. And Chief Warrant Officer 4, Joe Wildman from U.S. Coast Guard. If we could have all of the Vietnam veterans stand to be recognized. Welcome home, guys. If there is any family of Vietnam veterans, if they could stand to be recognized. And any other veterans or active duty, please stand. Thank you for your service. Before we close, I'd like to just take a moment to thank all of our sponsors. This was really quite an endeavor. It has taken almost a year of planning for us to bring this here to Centerville and Washington Township. I want to thank my team at the library that have worked diligently over this past year. I have Debbie Dawkins, Shelby Quinlivan, and Charlotte Joanne, who have helped make all of this possible. Thanks to the Centerville Washington Foundation. Without their financial support, we would not be able to have brought this here. We applied last year for a community impact grant, and as I said earlier, I really do think that this memorial is going to have a lasting impact on our community. I want to thank the Centerville, Washington Park District. They have been not only gracious to let us use their park, but been so instrumental in helping us with preparing the site and installing this exhibit. We really thank them for their assistance. They're a true community partner. We also have the Centerville Noon Optimist, Friends of the Washington Centerville Public Library, and the rest of the sponsors that are listed on your program, and all of the in-kind donations that we received to make this all possible. And thanks in advance, anybody that volunteered yesterday and anybody that is going to be volunteering, thanks in advance for your help. This is open 24 hours, so it takes a large crew to make sure that this is everything is running smoothly. For those who need to find names on the wall, there are volunteers at the information tent that can help you locate those. We also have some white roses for veterans and families to place near the wall in honor of their loved one. And we will conclude this ceremony with the playing of taps and some more music from Adina Brass. Thank you all for coming.
My name's Clyde Antrobus. I'm from Brookville, Ohio. I came here to honor my brothers, Vietnam veterans. Sorry, it still bothers me to talk about it.
My name's Pat Wichkowski. I'm from Vandalia, Ohio. This ride is very important to me because I served in Vietnam. A lot of friends aren't with us today, and their names are on the wall. And I think it's an important message for all of our citizens to see how many veterans gave it all for our country.
Because what we want to do is, we, as an organization, we want to honor everyone that served during Vietnam years, regardless of whether they were killed in action or missing in action, or those who did serve and survive. We want to honor everyone that served.
It's a constant reminder of our freedom, and freedom isn't free.
We'll start putting it together from the inside out. Right behind you, that section that we started yesterday is called the apex. So that's the beginning portion of it. It's going to extend out to the right to where that blue cone is. It's going to extend out to the left to where that orange cone is. That's how big it is. It's a 3/4 scale. So we're going to start building it from the inside out. So what we're going to do is, when we do this, I recommend not using gloves, because when you carry these frames, using gloves, sometimes it becomes a little slippery. But when we have to carry the panels, we have to use gloves. So for the first thing that we're going to do, start pulling out the frames, we're going to lay them out there, but there's a place for everything. Looking at the apex, everything to the right of the apex is called the east wall. Regardless of compass directions, it doesn't matter. It's just a point of reference for us. So everything to the right is east, everything to the left is west, and there's a number on it, on every piece of equipment that you're going to bring out there. The numbering system starts from the inside out. From the apex, it goes east, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. West, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So you'll have an E or a W and a number. So that's how you know how we're going to place things consecutively. We'll lay it on the ground. I'll have a build team. I need about 5 people to start building this. An east build team, a west build team. And then we'll start putting it together. when you bring these items out there, make sure you go to the right side, because if you go to the wrong side, we're going to laugh at you. And you'll be doing the walk of shame. So remember, east is to the right, west is to the left. Once we put together the frames, we're going to align it vertically and horizontally. We'll check plumb, make sure it's one straight line, and then we'll start staking it down one section at a time. And I'll explain to the build team how we're going to do that. Okay? So everything will be given to you in consecutive order with the instructions. Once we have that down, we'll come back, we'll regroup, and I'll explain what we're going to do for the next phase, which is bringing out the panels. These panels, once they have the names of those 58,281 names of those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. Now the thing is, once we have you can go through, if you have to go through from one side to the other, go through the hole, if you have to do something on one side or the other. But once we start putting in those panels, you cannot go through out of respect. So I need 2 build teams. One for the east side, one for the west side. You need 5 for each. Build team east. 5 volunteers. 1, 2,
I got it.
3, 4, and 5. Okay, so build team, go out to the field. I'll meet you down there. Build team for the west side. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. 5. Okay, I have a job for you now. Okay, so go down to where the apex is. I'll meet you down there as well. I'll give you instructions. These boxes will have to go out there, out to the field as well. That big silver box stays here. So I need 2 people on the inside. That'll help offload. So what they're going to do is the 2 people that are going to be on the inside will stay inside. You're going to hand it off to those that are coming up. So you'll come up this way, you grab the frame and walk it out that way.
Got it? Watching my table and
Watch fingers.
I'm going to go on the roof with about 4 of you. I will let you know who. And the 4 of us will string in. We're going to string in this line here. You've done it before. Yes, great. You can definitely come on the roof. Oh wait, have you done it on the roof? Okay, great. We're going to string in this line here, and it strings across. There's a channel on the top that it fits through. Once this line is strung in, we're going to pass down these bean bags. Those bean bags are going to get clipped to the tent. We're going to pull up the tent. We're going to zip this huge canvas across. And then if you are down here, your job is you're just waiting for me to say go. There are a lot of zippers down here. So there's a light right there. You're going to take that light out and move it out to the visitor tent. Then you can come grab this red box, wheel it out into one of these gators. Have someone help you lift it and put it in the back of that gator. Then you can have someone help you grab that gray box and go to the visitor path.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
The light is really light though.
Cool.
You got them both? Go put them in one of those stacked bins. Thank you. All right, love. You're good. Help him. I just saw him. This guy is going to need your help in just a minute, okay?
Gotta go back in there. Right there. Okay, now next section can go. Yeah.
Go.
Push that one in.
Go down.
Yep.
Right there.
Just a little
Out.
bit.
No, you're good. You're fine.
You've been doing a great job picking these sections up in the top. Yeah.
This needs to go out a smidge. Well, not yet, I'm sorry. Getting ahead of us. So let's see what we got. That's going to be good.
I think we'll take a break after this. That's what Ken said.
You?
Thanks, whatever your name is.
Yeah. I like them because they float. Don't they float? That's what I wear on
UV protection.
Do they?
Good.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. There's no such thing as perfect.
So once we start hammering down, speed up the process. Once we start getting to that one, we can start on this one.
All right.
Sweet.
Hey, Rick.
It's gonna be a little warm in there. Any volunteers?
I was trying to get gloves.
I know Rodney already went over that. Oh, yes. Well, that's part of my uniform. So you're going to go out there where that man in the yellow shirt is. Real slow like. And we're going to go 2 and 2. So grab 2. And now the east and west will be on the camera. All right. Everything else.
I don't remember.
Here, please. 2 more.
good. Perfect.
Yes, sir. I got it. Okay, don't forget to tap the as he tightens it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know we're doing his thumb there.
So you tap it at the same time as you tighten it down. Good. That'll take out the slack.
Got it? Hit it one more time.
Got it, thanks.
Right now, I'm not doing big panels yet. I'm gonna get a little heavier.
You want it?
Now, one of my kids called and said they're coming to help. So I figured the only way it was going to get done is if you do it. If I do it.
Hold west.
Pretty soon we're going to start asking for you guys to help out.
Good?
Thank you. Good? Yep, we're good. Like your seam? Yep, he's good.
You'll notice that in many places, if they're killed on the same day, then it becomes alphabetical order. So this is the beginning. 1968, we had a lot of casualties. 68 continues all the way to that end. It comes back this way quite a bit, and then ends in 1975. Everyone here, regardless of rank, regardless of branch of service, is considered equal. However, there's always one that I'd like to mention. His name is Dan Bullock. He's on panel 23 West, and the reason why I'd like to mention him is because he was 15 years old when he died. He lied about his age. He was 14, he tried to join the Army, and then they knew that he was too young, so they disqualified him. He waited a couple months, tried to join the Marine Corps, and he was able to get into the Marine Corps at the age of 14. He went to Paris Island. He was from New York City, so he went to Paris Island boot camp at 14. By the time he was sent over to Vietnam, he was 15, and he was killed there a few months after being there. So that's Dan Bullock. You can see his pictures right out on the inside of the information tank. When you walk by there, take a look, and you'll see he does not look like he was 15. So what we're going to do now, and first of all, I want to thank you for what you've done and for what you're about to accomplish for this weekend, because what you have accomplished today is really going to make a big difference in the lives of many of our veterans and our veterans' families. Because for so long, they've needed this, and when they came home, it wasn't a country that appreciated them. But now we do say thank you for your service, and let's give each other a hand. Awesome job that you did. Awesome job.